in bed in the morning time, you're just feeling like you can't get out of bed, you're too heavy, you don't have any energy, after what should be a good night's sleep, or throughout the day you just find that you're slouching a lot of the time, like you're humped over, like your chest is really heavy, or your legs are really heavy, you just feel like you can't move forward, or you find yourself saying things like, oh, I can't do this, I'm not able to do this, is too much. You could be dealing with a trauma response. Now, I was listening to a trauma response on the Ancient Health podcast by Dr. Apagayan. I'm probably butchering the name, but you could be in a trauma response if you are having an inability to connect with other people, or just not feeling connected, just because of that withdrawn feeling, or just not being present in the moment. And kind of analogy between stress and trauma is like, say you're holding a huge boulder over your head, and the stress is like, okay, this is heavy, but I'm going to send a surge of energy to hold this up as long as possible, as long as I need to, and until you just can't anymore. But when you're in trauma response and you say you are holding it over your head, your body, if you're in trauma response, your body's going to say, I can't do this. It's too heavy. It's too much. And then, it falls down and you get crushed. Biggest takeaways from this podcast was when you're stuck in this trauma response for, any period of time, it can be chronic, it can be different grades, like low grade, high grade. If you're in a high grade trauma response, you're probably going to end up like in the ER possibly, because that is really not a great situation. But if you're kind of just in a chronic state of trauma response, you can live in this for like decades and decades. The problem is your cells are having an inability to repair and, move on. So, because your cells are supposed to have the ability to repair. And I think that's kind of like where a lot of this, chronic low grade, or diseases come from, is from a trauma response. And research has kind of shown that as well. So, I think it's really great to recognize that you're in this trauma response and do something about it. And I just thought it was really interesting because, I've been talking about gut health a lot. I'm really big into gut health. And the trauma response really shuts down your inability to digest, because I've been talking about, being able to relax and, smell your food and chew your food and, taste your food. And when you're stuck in a trauma response, it's really difficult to do any of those things. Sometimes digestion is the first thing to go out the window. So if you have any kind of gut issues, you could be stuck in a trauma response. So, and what does this look like? I mean, what are some examples? Like, you might be saying, oh, I don't have any trauma. Like, that's only like big stuff. Well, car crashes is one. A lot of people have been in car crashes. And, if you've been in an argument, like a, pretty serious argument, if you've been a caretaker for somebody, or made fun of when you were younger, or maybe you felt like you weren't ever heard, like you didn't have a voice, or, just anything where you didn't feel safe, is the key part. That could be a trauma. And these add up over time. So I'm sure you've heard of The Body Keeps the Score. I believe there was a book that was written about that, but basically your body remembers this stuff, even though you may feel like you have moved on, but it gets ingrained into our cells. So, what is the way to deal with this then? Well, the best thing to do is to start by telling yourself that you are safe. You are in a safe place. When you start feeling these feelings creep up, or symptoms, that you are safe. And just telling yourself that over and over again. So really affirmations, right? The other thing you can do is to work with, a qualified mental health specialist who specializes. I hope this was eye-opening for you as it was for me, and that you learned something from it. I just ask that you please, share this with family and friends. Somebody needs to hear this. Somebody needs to get help. So, I believe a lot more people are stuck in this than we might actually even know, just because it's kind of like a hidden thing. Like, you can't see it, you don't really notice it, but you can certainly feel it. So, but the thing is, you don't know to change if you don't know that there was something wrong in the first place. So, kind of realizing this, and then, taking the steps to, to really start healing from this is how you start to heal that chronic low-grade inflammation. So, like I said, please share with family and friends. I'll provide a link for you guys to check out the podcast, the full podcast. So, like I said, I found it very informational, and I hope you guys like it. So, anyways, that being said,